Hello listeners, it's me Greg Delmage. I am the host today, and right now I'm just going to run right into that news because we did a special intro last time, skipped over a bunch of news since episode 189, or 191. That's like 2 whole episodes of news that you may have missed. And, well, yeah, let's just get into it. Before we get into features proper, as I usually do, I just want to remind folks that Black lives still matter as of this recording and any other recording for that matter, but I refer specifically to the movement and supporting that movement that's been gaining a lot of necessary recognition down in the United States and worldwide, since it's not just a United States problem. We have that problem more than enough up here in Canada as well. And you can read RPG Fan's statement on that matter, and please go check that statement out. Find ways that through our resource links that we've posted there to lend support where you can. If you're able to protest, and if you're comfortable with that, given these COVID times, do it. If you can bring people water, do it. If you can give them money, do it. Do whatever you feel best. But if you have it in you to help, please do it. With that being said, on to our features, which I'm going to start with Crowdfunding Chronicles. Tina Ola has not stopped, and we've got some lovely looking games. Weaving Tides looks pretty as all get out. Just a very neat Zelda adventure kind of inspired game that's just, it's all kind of lushness, and I really can't wait to see this thing through to completion. It's outstanding. The next one she looked at was Black Book, which it's a really cool RPG, once again with the Slavic mythology, which I have recently really enjoyed, which I experienced when I was playing Thea the Awakening. So this RPG adventure has a card-based combat. It looks stylish as heck as well. I like that mythology, and it looks really neat how they're going to be capturing it here. And then the final entry to get us up to date here is Externus Path of the Solari, which is a neat-looking tactical strategy RPG that's based on a homebrew tabletop setting. And it's got its own distinct style. It's really neat. I really look forward to how it develops, because right now some of the stuff looks a little rough around the edges, but the art style is really, really quite neat with some very cool, unique-looking character designs. So go give that a look. And over to the rest of the feature department, we had a huge feature that we talked about a bit before on episode 189, if I'm not mistaken, of our show, and that was Pete Liebett's Ogre Battle 64 challenges the notion of a person of lordly caliber. That is just, it is huge, beastly look at the theme of rebellion and how well that has been captured through Ogre Battle, but Ogre Battle 64 in particular, and definitely a lot of what he's had to say draws on so much of history. Pete is very well informed on the subject. This is just a very well thought out piece. I definitely recommend to anyone, and it is very pertinent given today's social political climate. So go have a read of this epic feature. If you're looking for a lighter feature, though, we do have great games to play while you're still at home, because some of us, a lot of different countries like Canada have started opening up things to return to work and regular life in some ways, while still maintaining social distancing practices. A lot of us also still are stuck at home. So if you're looking for some great games, a bunch of our staff, helmed by Zach Wilkerson, got together to contribute a great list of just things you haven't got to, or things you should get to, or stuff that has just come out. And there's a lot of great games to get lost in, beyond just, for myself, Animal Crossing, for example. I've been getting back to Horizon Zero Dawn. That is a very exciting world to get back to, so that's what I've been doing. So reviews, we've got a nice collection of them. I, for myself, am not sweating so much because there's been so much news from all the great gaming expos that have sprung up online that we haven't really been getting as much reviews on focus just yet, because there's just been so much news to cover. Oh my gosh. That being said, Alana Heggs has reviewed Heroes Must Die again. Not to say that she has reviewed the game again. The title is Heroes Must Die again. Whatever, it's a whole thing. But overall, it's an okay lukewarm game. I mean, she says it looks like it could have been more than what its parts kind of added up to, unfortunately. So here's hoping maybe the IP takes off and they'll get another crack at it. But at the moment, could have used a little more fleshing out of its fun concepts. This next review comes from Audra Bowling, and I know I've said this name before, and I'm probably going to butcher it. I probably did before, but anyways, Utorera Ramono did it. Prelude to the Fallen. Sorry, I just hesitated resting on my laurels for too long. Anyways, overall, I'm pretty solid game from Audra's perspective. It's got, its flaws, but it's a great place to start with this really neat kind of virtual novel strategy RPG hybrid game, and there's a lot more to follow in this series, so go check out a review and see if this is one series for you to dive into. Hey, remember when we talked about bug fables on the last episode? Well, if you don't remember, Alana Heggs reviewed it, and Bug Fables The Everlasting Sapling was an editor's choice for her as well, because it is a rad game with a bit of a Paper Mario aesthetic, great RPG mechanics, fun little world, so if you just want a really neat little Insectopia to dive on into with a little change in your RPG gameplay, this is the game for you. On this episode specifically, we brought on Neal Chandran, who reviewed Maneater for us, that really bizarre-looking RPG that some of you may remember that was teased with the spin that you were playing as a shark. So you got this rad open water RPG as a shark that Neal reviewed for us, and it's not without its issues. It's got a bit of a repetitive issue to it, but otherwise it's overall a really fun game that he had a good time with. So yeah, give it a check out, and maybe they'll have some more adventures for the shark, or I'm hoping whoever has the rights to EVO will be inspired to make EVO, but like this, because that'd be amazing. What's also amazing is the fact that Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition is hot as heck. It has once again gotten RPG fans' editor's choice from us. Zach Wilkerson gave it a review and had much to say about this overall remaster that is, yeah, it is the definitive edition of this game. It comes with Future Connected, which is middling at best, but still more of what you like. So if you are a fan of Xenoblade or have heard about it but didn't have a Wii or want to get to it, now's the time to do it. This version is awesome. We also have a video review up on our YouTube channel that I'm pretty pleased to present as well. So if you want to see more from this game, check out our video review and give a read of what Zach had to say. And almost a surprise to no one, Persona 4 Golden dropped on Steam. About time. So you can check that out on PC, and at the moment we have a review in progress from Bob Richardson up on the site. He's into the game for us already, so he is plugging away at it. We'll have a full review once he's done, but for now, if you want to see his initial early impressions, go check out that review in progress. And lastly, we have another fun review from Bob Richardson. So before he dove into Persona 4 Golden, he was playing Monster Train, which is a really neat kind of tactical deck builder RPG. Very much like Slay the Spire. It could definitely use a little bit more to diversify it from that game, but otherwise, overall, he was pretty pleased with it. So if you like your old deck builder combat, this is another one in that entry. And our final entry in today's news is from the music department. The Octopath Traveler Break, Boost, and Beyond live concert was apparently fantastic, based on the arrangements of Break and Boost and Break, Boost, Extend albums. And we got the Blu-ray of it for Patrick. He was reviewing that for us, so we not only got a great review of that whole DVD package, but you can also check out some clips from it and a whole video review with some of the music, because it's amazing, that we did up on our YouTube channel as well. So if you want to check out samples of it, if you want to check out the whole review with the visuals of the concert and everything, go check out our YouTube channel and give Patrick's review a read and listen to some sweet music. Anyways, everybody, thank you so much for listening to these bits and bytes, and have a good time listening to episode 191 of Random Encounter. Hey everyone, and by everyone, I mean everyone on the podcast, because now there's more people on the podcast than listeners. I'm kidding, there's lots of you out there. You listen to us, don't you? Please do. Email me. Call me. Message me on Discord. I don't know. Prove your existence to me.
Hey, I like that podcast.
Yes.
We sounded good, Greg.
We'll have an RPG fan telethon. So the sass begins already with one of our guests. As usual, though, to help me corral this podcast full of cats that is inevitably about to begin, I have Jono Logan, my intrepid co-host.
Always a pleasure. I will endeavor to be the best sheepdog I can possibly be.
I'll take it. And hopefully we'll get through this together because sassing it up there is Steph Sybydlo. Welcome, Mike.
Whoop, there it is. That's all I got.
There she is, everybody.
Oh, boy.
See, I was trying
She's
too
from
hard,
the 90s.
man. I never know what to say.
We also have rejoining us on the podcast, Neal Chandran.
How's everyone doing?
I'm swell. Thanks for asking. Or are you asking them? If you're asking them, we won't find out until the episode airs.
Doing good, thanks.
And we have, I don't know. We have Patrick Gann. Patrick, is it your first time on Random?
Yes.
Patrick Gann. He's on Random for the first time. There we go.
Yeah, I've been on the other one, the retro one.
Brand new
And
territory.
it's a pretty good one.
First time on the random one.
It's okay. We'll take you away from your many, many, many music reviews. If you've read a music review on RPG Fan, it was probably done by Patrick Gann.
Yes, that's statistically true.
Bravo.
Exactly. And we also have, again, new to me. I don't know if he's been on before, but I don't think so. But we have John Tucker. The Tucker is here.
Idly Ho Podcasterinos. Yeah, if I was on the podcast before, it probably had 2 digits in the episode number. So
I feel like
it's
I
been
did
a
listen
while.
to you once.
Ooh,
Yeah.
the
You
before
would be the
times.
friendly neighborhood RPG fan guy. Like, the whole Ned Flanders thing was actually pretty nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you got a cozy image that way.
Yeah.
The friendly
I
neighbor,
remember
yeah.
I was on the retro episode where we talked about the greatest RPG ever, Tetris,
Oh.
for an April Fool's. One of my favorite things I've ever done.
Beautiful. Although it's really funny because that came back when Pong Quest came out. Max made that joke. I love some being there a Tetris quest or whatever, which led me to make a very fun box art of a little Tetris block wielding a sword with a helmet. It was
Nice.
probably my favorite random piece of animated clip art I've ever made. It was great. And you know what? With Pong Quest, there's hope.
Okay.
It's funny, I didn't feel any hope when I saw that announcement.
Yep.
I don't know. Give us your wacky ideas. What do you think can be RPGified? I'll take Foosball, the RPG.
One of the questions I always like to ask is, what is everybody's favorite Tetris piece?
I have to go with the straight piece because it's just so satisfying to get a Tetris.
It is the
Satisfying.
straight white male of Tetris pieces.
I've always liked the
Wow.
square. I always
Way to
feel like
make me
gets me
feel
out of the
bad.
most
Yeah,
issues.
now it can't be your favorite. I win.
No.
Oh dear.
I'm a T fan because I like doing T-spins.
The T, yeah.
I like the
Yeah.
square because I'm a nerd.
Yeah, I like
So we got
the
2 squares.
I like the little offset pieces because they look like the P style pickups in bass, and I'm a bass geek. What can I say? I love to play bass.
Oh,
This
like
is
the
fact.
S thingy or
Yeah.
whatever? Yeah, that thing is really good. That one's gotten me out of so many jams.
I prefer the left-facing L over right-facing L, but the L shapes are pretty fun because they feel really satisfying when you can get just the right height and find the right spot for them. That you get a little 3, not quite a full Tetris, but you know what I mean? It's fun,
Mm-hmm.
See, my Tetris question always brings people together.
right? I thought it was going to be like, did you like the original Tetris or Tetris Effect or Tetris 99, you know?
I've not had a chance to play Effect yet, but the music
I've
sounds
heard it's
lovely.
great. Yeah.
I hear it's great. I'm
It's a
addicted
surreal
to 99.
Yeah. Do you remember when they used to have like Nintendo 64 stalls set up at McDonald's?
Oh, yeah. Was
And I
Tetris
remember
on
playing
there?
Tetris there. Yeah, I played it there for like 3 hours one day. It was
That, like, the one, I think it was like the first 3D one, wasn't it?
Tetrasphere.
Yeah, I think so.
Tetrasphere had this.
Tetrasphere, yeah.
Tetrasphere's
Tetrasphere.
puzzle mode was the hardest thing in the universe. It would give you a certain number of moves to clear all the pieces, and it was, oh my gosh, so hard.
Yes.
I have a series of magnet Tetris pieces that is on my fridge, and then every morning I drop another piece onto the fridge. It's a fun little.
Nice.
It's a
And then
fun
one
little
day
way
you
to
got
start the morning.
Tetris and they all vanished. But that being said, we've got more than Tetris to talk about. Fooled you. This is another April Fool's joke. We're going to keep going on to Pong now. No. That being said,
Peggle
we've had
too.
Peggle too. The
Oh, which reminds
repeggling.
me, we're all kind of missing E3 right now, so this is that week.
Yep. And in lieu of E3, to help us get our Joneses, we've got Diet E3 Light, or do you want to call it like Crystal E3?
Sugar-free
Or-
E3.
Sugar-free E3.
Because we're not doing it again. We're not going back. It's getting discontinued after this year.
Yeah, no kidding. No. But we've got the Igen, well, that's what I'm calling it, sticking to it, Igen Summer of Gaming.
Igen.
And then we had that big PS5 reveal event that happened in that, so we can't really not talk about that because that's some pretty looking stuff coming out.
That is really pretty looking stuff. I
Right?
still don't know if it's like screenshots that we're looking at or not, if they're at all dummied or whatever, bullshotted or whatever.
I mean, you know that they had like the legitimate
looks
text
so
on the videos that says this is all in-game engine, so we gotta trust that.
Yeah.
It looks so good though. Like they've been releasing 4K shots that are absolutely surreal to look at.
What do you think of the console itself? That looks kind of like an air purifier.
I like the digital version, the
I like it
symmetry.
too. I like
It
it
makes
too.
me
I'm
bite
big
my
into
lip.
digital.
Yes.
I'm also hoping it's slightly cheaper.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's the price
should
at
be,
right now?
right? Because it's got less parts.
We
in
don't
it.
know. Yeah, we don't know
Yeah,
what the
we
price
don't know
is
yet.
yet. We don't know when it's coming out. I think that's partially because of COVID. I think that everybody right now is kind of hedging their bets when it comes to release dates, and that's not a terrible idea.
Yeah.
Well, I guess too. Like they don't know how much people want to be spending if we have a lot of unemployed people.
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
But
So
we got a
and,
lot
like
of
we know
2020
Sony is
release
willing to
dates
take
for
a
the games.
loss. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's presumably coming out before the end of the year, but
Which one? The all of it.
We're hearing rumors of the base price of games will be going up a little bit, but I mean,
Well, the
Games of-
Canadian part of this podcast is used to that.
that's
Ooh,
true.
expensive games. Ooh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
at
Games
least
of
Sorry,
not
there,
Australia.
you know,
And Brazil, I
Atari-
think, right?
Oh, Brazil has it bad too? I don't know. I've only heard from Australians who are just like, yeah, I paid like
Yeah,
$60
certain parts
for
are
this
getting
game.
just beaten down bad.
But
Yeah.
let's not forget,
And
I
it
mean,
was like
the
30 for
Australian
us.
dollar versus the U.S. dollar is wildly different.
Yes.
Yeah, but I'll tell you where I'd rather live right now.
The
Touché.
moon?
Actually, New Zealand would be
I like
nice.
to be in Fiji. Yeah.
You're just going to go join Farnsworth on the moon? I'm leaving this planet.
I don't want to live on this
Crusaders on
planet
the
anymore. It's
moon.
something I've said a lot lately.
Yeah, exactly.
Futurama the
moon.
RPG.
I'd play it.
Oh, don't even joke.
Hey, hey, it'd be a fun idea.
It would be. No,
Yeah.
I'm totally into it.
I mean, if South Park could
Talk
do
about
it.
that.
Yep.
And well.
They did
Yeah,
such
exactly.
a good job at it.
But yeah, we had a lot of beautiful looking games released. Some of them are very obvious, are going to fall on our coverage. Some are really like kind of, I don't know. I mean, I'm holding out hope that Stray will fall on our coverage. But
It looks so
Plays a
cool.
cat.
probably
I don't
just
see
an
why
action
not.
game.
You gained
But-
a level, extra licking capacity. Extra rough, so you can lick away your enemies.
I just want to like just keep prompting
louder
Steph for
hissing.
random thoughts for the rest of the episode and just see what we get.
Sharper claws.
I was going to say something. I'm going to leave that
Oh,
alone,
this is
though.
great.
Furball. It
I'll say
scares
the-
enemies and defense down.
The first.
I mean, that being
like,
said, I have played a cat RPG because there's a system called
Yeah.
Fate, and they had. I think actually, John, weren't you playing it at some point?
played Cat Quest.
Well, there's Cat
Ooh.
Quest, but no, there was a tabletop version of Fit, like the Fable gaming system.
No,
And
I haven't
they
actually
had
played.
one setting was where you're all cat witches, basically, like you're cat wizards. And it kind of tries to explain the weird behaviors of cats, but the whole reason that cats do their weird crap is because they're trying to protect their humans from evil spirits. So, like, you kill a mouse and you leave it, it's an offering to the spirits to defend the house, for example.
So cute.
When they chase stuff for no reason, it's because they're chasing off spirits. And it was all in that RPG mechanic, and there's a couple different classes for the cats, and yeah, it was ridiculous and awesome, and I want to play more of it.
I prefer that to the movie Cats, where they, over-explain things about cats in a personal way, and,
Jellicle cats
Release the butt
can,
cut,
and jellicles
but,
do, you know?
For like 20 minutes nonstop.
I don't even know if I can rent that as a joke, but I really want to.
I do want to see it out of curiosity, but I have actually the original, like, staged version that they did
That I
from, like,
wanna see.
from London, and I got that version on VHS back when, and it's still great. So I'll stick to that, and I'm fine.
The original show is perfectly fine. It's a perfectly fine piece of theater.
It's spectacle, and it's good times. But spectacle is what that PS5 event was. Segued, in your faces all.
Nice.
Let's talk about
Cats
games.
the RPG one day, maybe.
Exactly. What? It's all musical. Enjoy it. But yeah, what?
The goal is to become the Jellicle.
What's everyone's favorites? I guess stuff that you think would fall in our coverage. What was your favorites and stuff? What was your favorite hit outside of the coverage? We'll go reverse order of announcements. John, what did you like from the PS5 event?
I loved Horizon Zero Dawn, the first one. The DLC was awesome. Like everything about it was awesome. So I was really excited to see the second one. That shot of her like riding past the Golden Gate Bridge was super cool. I'm all in on that. Also,
I feel
like
that's pretty unanimous.
It would be great if the Miles Morales Spider-Man game fell in our coverage. It probably won't, but it would be great.
There's an upgrade system, but no.
Personally.
Yeah, if they could like try and take it more of an Assassin's Creed route, and there's some RPG elements in it, we can make a case.
Yeah, because he is more of a as a character in the comics, he is more stealth based. They kind of showed it off where he can sort of go invisible and things like that. So yeah,
that's pretty dope. I don't know much about Miles Morales from comic book world side of things, but I'm excited to see him get represented because people have been crying out for him to be represented on screen in some fashion. So here we are.
Spider-Verse is literally my favorite of the Spider-Man movies.
I need to see it so bad, and I've heard it so bad.
Oh, you do.
Oh, how have you
do.
not? You're
real
awful.
That'd be a good movie to watch with Gwen, actually. It's pretty family-friendly.
Well, that's part of the problem because she watches a lot of movies with her dad, and so by the time we get over, we're like, let's watch this thing. She's like, I've already seen it. We're like, of course you have. Of course. All right, cool. We'll just go back to being busy parents. Don't watch movies. And so I haven't had a chance to really sit down and watch it, but I'm sure she'd watch it again by now anyways, so we can do it again. I'm excited for it. But moving away from that, who's next? Patrick Gann, what did you like?
So, for completely selfish reasons, Demon's Souls. I bought that game day one on PS3. I never played it. The servers shut down forever ago. I know you can play without the online servers, but it's just one of those games.
What's the fun in that?
Sitting on my backlog, and I was just like, man, this is never going to happen. And then they're like, guess what? It's back, y'all. And I was like, ah! So that was probably the biggest one for me, because I was like,
I wish they introduced it. It's back, y'all.
they should really hire me for
Kind of like that Godfall trailer?
What? Sorry, what'd you say?
If they had done it like the Godfall trailer, where it was like very anachronistic music.
Yeah.
Get some Dark Souls.
You want Demon's Souls and Dark Souls alive?
Your Dark Souls is mine.
So now this is it's a from the ground up remake, or is it just like in the vein of like any other remaster, or are they actually like redoing the whole engine from the ground up, like for example Trials of Mana?
I think it's looking at it, it looks like it's from the ground up, which I'm fine with. I think that's the right choice.
Nice. Because I don't know enough about the original that I couldn't tell what was just like a one-for-one shot or something, or if it's actually like a wholly remade world and engine in the Demon Souls mythos and this following.
No, I think it's
story.
been 100% remade. Like
cool.
Screenshot comparisons are incredibly different, but they've been emulating it as much as they can.
I think like the formula, like the game itself has fairly linear steps, just like more so than Dark Souls actually, and like it's stage based, and I think they're holding to that. They might add some stuff, of course, but I'm pretty excited about it.
Well, and they have Blue Points on there who did the remaster for Shadow Colossus. Right. So I'm wondering now, with some of those bigger enemies, I'm like, will you get to climb them to kill them?
That would be fun. Especially if cool cinematic music happens.
Attack on Titan boss?
Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it looks pretty rad. And then, what's your favorite non-RPG-ish game? Or is it you're just like, whatever, Demon Souls, too bad, everything else can die in a fire?
I secretly hope that Resident Evil 8 is good. I have a love-or-hate relationship with every entry in that series. It's like some games I'm like, yes! And other games I'm like, I never want to see you again. So I hope 8's one of the yes games. Yeah.
We'll see what happens. Time will only tell.
I know why Chris Redfield is betraying everybody. Why, Chris? Why?
Get fed up.
The setting looks really
zombies.
cool too. Like they showed yeah, it looks. God, I'm terrified of Resident Evil 7 slightly.
The last one I played was 4, and yeah, it was still terrifying with just randomly getting mobbed here and there. It was like, oh my gosh.
Well, you
can
played
get
the best
7
one,
on-
so that's what matters.
You
For
can get
co-op
7 on
gaming, you
PS.
really can't find much better than Resident Evil 5 and 6, though. They're so much fun. Oh, and the Revelations. So if you guys are looking for excellent co-op gaming, like Resident Evil's been delivering some really good titles as far as that.
You can get 7 on PSVR, and that's got to be just the worst. I mean that in a good way.
In a good way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds terrifyingly amazing. I want to get my wife to do that, and she would just lose her mind. It would be great. The fun is to witness, but terrible at the same time. I am incorrigible. Moving along, Neal Chandran, what did you like?
I'm looking forward to 13 Sentinels. I mean, that game has been like in the wings for a long time, and I'm looking forward to seeing it because I like Vanillaware games. I think they look amazing. I loved the Odin Sphere remake. It like completely fixed all the problems of the original, and yeah, hey,
They're a good mix of style and substance. Like, they have it in both, and they've always done really good things graphically and gameplay-wise.
yeah.
Yeah, they look gorgeous, if anything else.
They do.
Mhm.
And the music provided by Bass Escape, is just always really, really great to buckle down and listen to. Just generally, they've delivered nothing but great games. Dragon's Crown, if we're still talking about co-op games, is another just, unforgettable co-op experience I recommend to everybody. So I can't wait for this. It's been really praised by a lot of import reviews as well. So, it was up for even a few games of the years when it came out.
Yep.
So I'm really excited for it too.
I mean, I'll never forget, though, that Penny Arcade comic about Dragon's Crown, where they were
the
suggesting that
Dawn
the
one?
men should be as endowed as the...
Oh, that is like top 5 Penny Arcade.
That would be a
comics.
frightening attack, to be fair.
Yeah, it was very spot on.
It was pretty funny.
And it's crazy that game is such a meme, yet it's also a really good game.
What,
Yeah.
Dragon's Crown? It's
Yeah.
brutal. It's wonderfully brutal, yeah. And you get to fight the Monty Python rabbit. I mean, as far as like even fantasy references, it's actually even got a whole bunch of those for everybody. Like Conan the Barbarian, I think, is one of the references it does as well. Like, it's such a cool game. Vanillaware, again, like, they
I
just
always
really
wanted
have
to play
their grip on, like, whatever they're imitating. They do such a good job. Yeah, please do. Any Vanillaware game is great.
Yep. I believe that brings us to you, Steph.
I kind of just talked with everybody, I think.
Exactly.
I'm so hyped for Resident Evil. I'm so hyped for Zero Dawn Event Horizon. God, whatever it's called. I was
Forbidden West.
Unexplored West, or whatever it is? Forbidden West.
Solar Ash, I can't wait for. If you haven't played Hyper Light Drifter, it is a brutally difficult action game, and Solar Ash looks absolutely incredible follow up to it.
It makes me think of that game that Derek helped out on localizing back when, and I'm forgetting. There's 2 of them, and like the Gravity game that was on PS. It was earlier PS4.
Gravity Rush / Gravity Days.
That sounds right.
I didn't.
It gave me some of
Did
those
it help
vibes.
with the
I didn't know
translation?
that Derek. He worked on the second
I feel like
one.
he had.
Yeah, I think he worked on the second one. I've only played
Oh.
the first one. That game
You
is
didn't
so
tell me
stylized.
that. We were playing the trailer together at
So
E3.
good.
He kept his secrets. Damn his NDA. But that's
Seriously,
awesome.
damn all their NDAs. It pisses me off when I can't know if they're
Yeah.
working on.
So Persona 4, everybody. That's always fun.
Coming to Steam, y'all.
Yeah, because that was announced
Yeah,
at IGN,
finally.
wasn't it?
In before what about the PS4 and the Switch? Because that's going to happen.
Yeah, funny story about Persona 4. The news dropped when we were recording last week with Lana, and just in the middle of it, and the 3 of us were just freaking the heck out, and we were like, oh, we can't put any of this in the actual podcast.
Did you save the audio at least? I'm just like, oh my god.
That'll be a bonus feature.
For our Patreon one day, I'm guessing, yeah.
I still have the original of it.
Oh, cool. I kind of do want to hear that. But no, that was really cool news. I'm glad they're finally doing that.
And
Yeah, and I guarantee it will come to consoles at some point. It's interesting that it is going to Switch first. Or not Switch, sorry,
Steam,
PC
yeah.
first.
And you know what?
Surprised. I just hope it sets the precedent for all of them.
Yeah, there's definitely other
We need the PS2 games.
yeah, a lot of other Atlas games that hey, it would be nice to have them on PC.
Yeah. So I'm hoping this really opens the floodgates for them. They chose a good one to start off on. Because, yeah, Atlas's PS2 lineup was ridiculously good.
Yeah, and with so many, and with Steam being like a hotbed, especially for indie JRPGs, hey, why not have some more of the classics available to a wider audience?
Maybe one day Nintendo will figure something out about that, but it won't be in our lifetime.
And
Yeah, they're slowly getting there. I mean, we'll eventually get, that update for the Nintendo Online, and it'll be when we're in our 80s, and it'll be great.
yeah,
Celebrating Nintendo's 200th birthday or something like that. I know they're crazy old. By finally putting our games on PC for everyone to play.
And the first game is a recreation of their Hanafuda cards. It's just a collecting game. That's all
that'd
it
be
is.
cute, actually.
That would
be
actually
just
be
charming.
endearing as heck.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah,
the only
I'd
games they
be all
released
over
for
that.
PC were like Game & Watch.
Just troll everyone.
Why would they do that?
Just troll everybody.
But like HD, like 4K remasters, like completely redo them all. But it's the
but with
same
no
High
gameplay.
definition
But with
pixel.
no new animation at all. It just uses the exact
yeah.
LCDs.
Like, give us the Smash icon at least. Like, no.
That'd be even better.
Well, if they do that, we'll have to bring back that old Boxy video where she's like, "Use trolling."
Oh my god. Okay, Neal, put yourself on snooze button for a bit. Are you talking about the Boxy, that meme from like the...
Yes, from the
I'm
late
not
2000s, early
trolling.
2010s,
I'm
Oh
Boxy.
my god. Oh.
and
Oh, dear.
and yeah, and earlier
You
and,
can't see my face right now, but it is.
and earlier this year,
frightened.
and earlier this year, Katie Wayne, who's Boxy, actually lent her voice, likeness, and some creative input to an RPG called Boxy Quest.
Oh my
Oh, right. And that's right. We are getting some coverage on that soon, too, from you, aren't we?
Yes.
So the reality is this is not off topic.
Haha,
But I'm
we got
still
you all fooled.
intrigued.
But, Jono, we haven't heard you weigh in yet.
Me, actually, I mean, this might be a slightly... No one's mentioned it yet, and I think it kind of got overshadowed. Kenna Bridge of Spirits looks really cool to me. It looks like Zelda by way of Pikmin, which I think is a neat idea.
Yeah, it looked pretty.
I was going to bring it up that, it could
Finally
might
getting our
fall in
female
there.
Link.
But honestly, I think that
Yeah.
I think that the game everyone's talking about is Bug Snacks.
I don't even know what to think about it. Like, Octodad is
It's
such
Gen
a bizarre
Snack,
experience.
I'm not even kidding. In
I
my
would
mind,
love to eat my words.
and then turn into them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we'll have Steph Sybydlo walking around as a great big W2F.
But I think
What I've always wanted to be.
I think the games that really have my attention, which unfortunately do not look like RPGs or adventure games, but are the two Groundhog Day-esque games, Deathloop and Returnal.
Yeah, there's a few
Deathloop look
of those.
great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
They
I
both
love
look great.
I love Dishonored, so that the studio is developing a game with similar mechanics, except it's going to be more, I guess, open-ended. I think I don't know if you guys know, the coolest thing is that it's not an online game, but if you put the settings, anyone can jump into your game at any time as the other assassin.
Dope.
Sick.
Yeah, and like track you down. So you have a choice between you can let someone into your game, you can use the AI, or if you want like a 50-50, you can use AI half the time and real human the other half of the time. I think that's just a
fun
really cool
twist.
mechanic.
Yeah, that's
That's
such
awesome.
a more interesting way of like doing like kind of what the Dark Souls thing was too, of having a nemesis kind of joining your game. That's really fun.
Yeah, and Returnal just looks
I still
neat.
like... Yeah.
Reminds me a
I
lot
still
of the
geek out when Mario Kart would turn you into a bomb when you died in the Battle Royale mode, and you'd get to go around as a little bomb.
Right.
Like, that was just the greatest thing to me.
You probably just tried to get killed fastest so you could go around and troll people like that, couldn't you?
Once or twice, yeah. Like, if you got 2 unlucky hits, you're like, well, might as well just throw in the bone and just, go around and bomb.
Ruin everyone's day.
Oh, and Square Enix revealed their Project Athia. Forgot about that one.
Yeah.
And we don't know much about it.
Yeah, that was a thing.
No.
It looks stunning, though.
It looked pretty.
It does look pretty.
The big running joke is hopefully we don't have to wait, 9 years for it. But, it did look really, really pretty.
Here's a question for you guys. I have to admit, during a lot of the presentation, I was slightly underwhelmed by the visuals. Which games do you actually think really showed off the visuals of the PS5?
Oh, specifically the PS5. I mean, I think Horizon Zero Dawn was running on all cylinders.
That's what I was going to say.
Stray
really
looks like
liked
it, even though it's stylized.
Yeah.
I know this is not the popular opinion. A lot of people say it looks awkward, but I really like the cartoon effect they achieve for Goodbye Volcano High.
I think
it looks really interesting.
I think
it looks a bit like a lower budget effort, but I mean, I still think it's a really cool idea, and just the way they kind of, I don't know, it's a friendly cartoon aesthetic for a high school thing. Looks really cool.
Yeah, I think it was weird put in sandwiched between these games, and I think that's why people were like, "What's this?" But it looks neat.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll review it. It's a visual novel, so when it comes out, we're gonna have some coverage on it.
And lately, visual novels starring non-human characters have become pretty popular.
Yeah.
There's a crowd for it, that's for sure. And yeah, you're right. It looks really neat, and they all look so defeated because it looks like it's setting up that the end of the world is coming, the extinction of dinosaurs, and they're aware. It seems dramatic as heck. Well, I mean, even Ember Labs is offering from Kina Bridge of Spirits. It looked pretty nice as well. I didn't find that too underwhelming.
I thought
there was the Capcom's Death Stranding, Pragmata,
which looks.
Yeah, I was gonna say where was Kojima's name on that one?
I really like the look of Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. I thought it looked. I thought it looked beautiful. Also,
the dimension hopping was stunning.
It weirdly reminded me of BioShock Infinite.
Yeah, it really did.
And I think from day one, the Ratchet and Clank games have always looked amazing.
That's true. Whatever they've been on. Yeah. I hope they call the girl Ratchet Ratchet.
I would buy it.
I would have said Raquel.
That'd be nice too.
Let's meet in the middle. Racket.
Racket. That's actually cute.
Okay.
But everything. I thought it was a really stellar overall performance. They looked like they hit a lot of both niches and genres, and I think there was a little bit of something for everybody. So even if we didn't like bug snacks, I think that was there for the kids.
I didn't say anything about not liking bug snacks. I think it looks crazy.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know, just in case.
I'm curious what that mechanic is going to feed
on the
into.
internet anymore.
With the
It's
whole,
theoretically
turning into the food. I don't even know what's going to happen there.
Yeah.
The only one I want to talk about that was my off-brand for RPG stuff was Jet. That looks.
Oh, I missed that one.
Really pretty. The Sword and Sorcery team ones.
Sword and Sorcery. Yeah. It was such a good game back in the day.
It looks really and they've always had such a great sense of style that they execute in their games. That one looks really intriguing. I'm curious.
I had a really poorly timed bathroom break, but I caught the end of that and it looked really cool. Oh, and there was a Hitman game, and there's Oddworld, and I don't know. I think no one's excited about that, even though.
I never played it, but it looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
I just think
but
it's
let's just do a podcast about Stray.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing. I thought it's hysterical. Sackboy: A Big Adventure looks like the biggest Mario 3D World ripoff I've ever seen.
It did, yeah. I feel bad though, because that whole Little Big Planet studio does nothing but great work. So
yeah, they've been super fun.
It might be good. I've just looked at it and I was like, this literally just looks like someone was like, it'd be good on the PS5. Mario 3D World. Think we can convince
but they
Nintendo?
Won't give us that.
No? Okay.
So let's kind of mix it with Yoshi's Woolly World and make it with Sackboy. Done.
That's basically what it is. They were inspired when they saw Woshi's Yuli World.
Woshi's Loli World. Loli World. Super funny.
Woshi's Loli World.
Well, thanks for weighing in on all that, because that's there's a lot going on, and yeah, there's not gonna be I don't know. We'll get more details as things go on about what we as a site will be able to cover and such. But at the moment, we can only kind of speculate here what here and there is going to fall under our branch.
A lot more games to come.
And even outside of what we saw in all these online presentations, a lot of the smaller developers are already gearing up, like, their upcoming titles for the fall. Like, I mean, it's going to be crazy. I mean, there's a lot of really interesting stuff coming out. It's like...
And we'll all be out of quarantine and have no time to play it anymore.
I know, right?
Or we'll be in another one.
Well, unless we get that second spike.
We'll either be out of quarantine and have no time to play, or we'll be back in quarantine and nothing but time.
Well, at least we're prepped.
We vaguely know what to
like,
expect.
A lot of game companies were really nice about providing a sale, like, just in time for that, too. And, like, stay-at-home bundles. They've been really great about it.
Yeah, it's like people are going to be there spending the money, so you may as well give them the discount to encourage them to buy your product.
Yeah.
It's still going to make you money that they may not otherwise have spent if it wasn't on sale.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But that being said, we did get some other stuff to talk about that wasn't in the all these announcements for reveals and such like that. We've been playing games. We do that sometimes when we have time. I don't know where we find time. Speaking of which, John Tucker somehow found time to explore Outer Worlds on the Switch. And as we all remember, Jono was quite a fan of Outer Worlds. So it doesn't look like it's been making the best transition over to the Switch, but how's it playing all the same?
Yeah, I have to say, speaking of time, I was a little embarrassed to realize that in the 7 days I've had the game, I spent 62 hours on it. So, clearly it's still pretty fun to play, but oh boy, the
your 3D printer's looking at you forlornly.
yeah, it is a little
Make
bit.
my Kirby mouth thing.
It's sorry, Steph. One day.
Okay.
I've been busy printing masks and things, but it's so. I mean, the gameplay is the same. You're still running around shooting things and collecting loot and tinkering and doing a zillion side quests and things. But boy, it's not attractive. The graphics didn't make a very good transition. There's some things that still look just fine, when you're up close with, especially like buildings and things like that. They look fine, but the enemies clearly have lower fidelity textures. Even like as you walk around, even the very first area, I was like, this is really weird. Why are there like pools of oil on the ground everywhere? I had to watch a video of somebody playing the Outer Worlds on like a PS4 or something to see that it was intended to be like puddles of water. It was supposed to look really nice, but they looked like
A little oily on the screen.
Yeah, like oil or with just a little bit of antifreeze mixed in. They're not good.
Well, given the world, actually, that wouldn't be out of character.
It wouldn't.
I was going to say, I wonder if someone suggested, like, why don't we put some flames around it? And they're like, no, the system won't handle it.
Yeah, exactly. You can see it in like the grass and things like that, like in the areas where you're supposed to hide, where that's pretty obviously, much lower texture. Yeah, so
the enemies can see you now. There's less grass.
Yeah, fortunately, it still works mechanically the same way. I felt like, you're talking about, quarantine and having time to play games and things like that. Everybody's talked to death about how great the timing was for an Animal Crossing to come out at the beginning of all this, for everybody to have time and to be dying for a game like that. I feel like Outer Worlds on Switch is a little bit the opposite of the current climate of, a lot of people talking about corporations and kind of the negative impact that they can have on things. It was really kind of a depressing game to play often because it is
cynical about it.
It is so much about negative effects of corporations and all these people scared to be able to say anything that their corporation would not approve of. You know, a lot of the times when you have a persuasion check with people, or you want to lie to people or whatever, it's basically like, you know, if you don't let me do what I want, your boss will find out. A bad thing.
I want to speak to your manager.
Yeah, Karen the game.
I was just gonna say, name your character Karen.
But yeah, so that wasn't, you know, but you know, still, you know, it's clearly, you know, it's Fallout in space, and it.
Which you don't want to do, by the way. I would advise don't fall out in space. No,
do not fall out in space. Stay in space. You know, and I guess the other thing is there is a lot of like, you know, a lot of choices there where you're trying to make a morally gray decision. You know, do you kill these people so these other people can live, and you know, things like that. And
the old runaway trolley cart.
yeah. And right now, not looking for a lot of morally gray stuff in my life, you know. So that was rough, but still, 62 hours in a week. It didn't drive me away from the game, apparently. So
what you're saying is you weren't chopping trees and catching bees in that time.
No. My Animal Crossing villagers, I did visit them one time in the last week, and they were like, "Dude, we haven't seen you in a week. Where have you been?"
You smell of death.
Yeah. But yeah, so a review is pending, and that'll be out in not too long. But I think you can tell where I landed.
Yeah.
I don't know what the schedule's looking like.
We'll find out.
I look forward to reading it because, I mean, I reviewed it a couple of months ago. I loved it. I found it very engrossing, and those were in the days, I guess, where we had more hope, and I was like, ooh, morally great decisions. This is amazing.
Yeah.
This is just the stakes my life was lacking.
Fun way to phrase it.
Yeah.
Here's a question I had for you. I watched some footage of the Switch version side by side with the PS4, and it did not look good. I remember not being...
He said politely.
Yeah, it wasn't the prettiest looking game already. It looked okay. It just wasn't gorgeous. But I thought the real thing about the game that was amazing were the design of the game, the logos, the graphics, the way the various corporations were built up. That's what I really thought was interesting and striking. Or the anatomy, the world building, the anatomy of the various creatures. How well did that translate over?
Some of it better than others. The signs, like the holographic signs and things that you see around the world, some of them look really spotty and weird, and like on the same on the vending machines. And I don't know, I didn't play it on another console, so I don't know if those looked nice and crisp, like on the vending machines and things. They definitely didn't.
Chances are no. Yeah.
The enemies, you know, again, like the primals come to mind, the big like ape looking dudes. As you got up close to them, they looked a little bit almost like green screened in, you know, where they're like kind of clearly separate from the things around them, and other things like that.
Lousy rotoscoping.
Yeah, exactly. But still, like the design is still, you know, the design is still cool and the design is still there. You know, it's just the technical execution, and you know, I don't want to put any fault on the team that ported it over to Switch. They had a heck of a task in front of them.
The fact that they did it is incredible.
Exactly. So it's not their fault that the hardware, you know, couldn't handle anything better than what they gave it. I will say, don't remember a moment of slowdown, except for when I went into one of the big squares in Byzantium, weirdly not even on the Groundbreaker, which is a big kind of open area you walk into with, you know, some stuff. But in Byzantium, I did run into a little bit of slowdown in a square that ended up actually looking horrible. I'm going to include a screenshot of that one in my review so people can see kind of the worst example of what it looks like. But
and that's nice of you to say it, like, yeah, because I can't imagine it was easy porting it over to a separate console and also expecting it to have two different modes of running. Like, I'm assuming you also tried it on handheld. Like, did you find a performance improvement between docked and handheld?
I didn't. The one difference that I noticed is that the Joy-Cons, just the joystick experience with that is not the best. Not that it's not responsive or anything like that. I've never had any of the drift issues that I've heard a lot of people talk about. But the shortness of the sticks and the sort of the smallness of them meant that I tended to overcorrect on things.
Interesting.
But performance-wise, everything was fine. Whichever way I played it, I did switch. Like when I was playing the final boss, I was like, no.
He said the thing.
I'm only playing this on the TV. So,
and that's fair.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, like how. I mean, again, like it's no fault of the team, so to speak. They're working as hard as they can with it, but it just seems when there's such an obvious disparity between the two games and presentations of them, like that they could okay that in the end.
Yeah, and
they being Nintendo or whoever.
Yeah. And I think what it reminded me of is I reviewed Borderlands 2, I think it was, or Borderlands Collection on the Vita. And it's the same kind of thing where, it's more or less the same game, but it is a different experience to play it in handheld than it is to play on lesser hardware than it is to play on a big screen on a nice piece of hardware.
When I was looking at the screenshots, what it really reminded me of, to a greater degree, was, have you guys ever seen the unreleased Resident Evil port for Game Boy Color? Yeah, the screen.
I can't remember, but
I have
heard of
seen
that.
that.
The
It's
screen-
crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy because it's recognizable as Resident Evil, but you're like, ooh, this should not be happening at all, and then it didn't. But it kind of reminded me a little bit of that. You're looking at it and you're just like, this console just can't handle it.
Yeah,
Ew.
one of the things that you
Did you go look?
I did. It's hideous.
Googled it.
It's well done, but I mean, it's hideous.
One of the things that I'm thinking of now, there's a lot of issues with like pop-in and with textures popping from really low res far away to looking good after, especially if you're like sprinting. There was one occasion where I was sprinting up to a place where I was supposed to meet somebody, and I had to like stop. I got to the point where the marker was on the map, and I had just stop and like wait for a couple of seconds, and then they appeared just out of nowhere. And definitely times where I'd be running around the overworld, and there would be some enemies that would just all of a sudden appear pretty close to me. But I mean, fortunately, you can also just keep right on running, and they won't catch up to you. So,
Game's cheating. It's hacks.
That must be how like enemies feel when their stealth player is playing and just someone like pops it beside them and kills them.
Yeah. Yes, my life has horrible pop-in. I do not know what's going on.
Really got to get my my upgrades in for my RAM on my life.
I wish I had more memory.
I got a recommendation for you, Steph, but we'll keep this PC. But no,
it's the no.
But it makes me want to like go to some of these screenshots for this version of the game and like insert PS1 squall and just see if someone can like spot the difference. See if they can find them.
It's maybe not quite that bad.
Sounds
but
like a fun version of Where's Waldo.
There he is. I found the most handsome guy in the square.
That's Where's Squall would be a good Where's Waldo replacement for like all 32-bit like polygon-based games.
At any rate, thank you so much for sharing that. Though I'm glad. Like again, it's a clear statement that despite its looks and some of those issues, the fact that you were able to just commit to it and enjoy the experience speaks highly of the gameplay and the storytelling as a whole, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely, and it was just as fun as the Fallout games before it of running around and finding a million quests and trying to accomplish them all, and getting all those companions. I mean, the companions
Sounds
are
like
pretty
Fallout.
easy to get, but still.
Well, they're some of the most fun things, is what Jono was saying too. Some of the companions bring a lot to the story.
Yeah, Vardy is amazing.
Yeah, and
Great. I love
They're-
Parvati.
their interactions as you took them out in the world were great as you talk, with the different people. And, I tried to bring different combinations of companions with me every time I left the ship, just because, they were all going to do fine, whatever. They're mostly there to distract enemies. But they would have, they'd have fun conversations with each other.
That's cool. I like that. That's kind of, we talked about that too. It's some of the fun of things like Dragon Age and such too, just seeing who's going to mingle with what in the past. And there's some of that, I guess, in the next game that we're going to talk about too, which is, I guess, more of a be careful who you make up fun of in high school, because Xenoblade Chronicles got quite the glow up with the definitive edition. It is really Reyn Time now. That wavy hair.
You could say we are really feeling it.
Right? A lot of people wish they were really feeling Dunban. Man, people got super thirsty for Dunban with this.
The fact that he has attack bonuses for being topless is, I think, their way of knowing how everyone feels. Actually,
and that was always there in
the
Japan,
Wii. Yeah, I was always there in the Wii, but was it Soraya SaGa? Yeah, she was surprised how many people like Naked Dunman. And she's one of the creators, one of the writers for Xenogears, I think.
Yeah, I thought she was in a relationship with Tetsuya Takahashi. I could be wrong about that.
Yeah, I think they're married, right?
And they co-wrote Xenogears.
Yeah, so she's been kind of helping out. Yeah, and she's been kind of helping out on the sides. She did a design or two for Xenoblade 2 as well. So it's actually been kind of fun keeping up with some of the things she says.
But for reals though, this game looks like it always should have.
Really?
So where have you been getting at?
Really
is this one of the few new games that you've had time to dive into, Steph?
Yeah, I know. I played the Wii version. I played the 3DS version, which, made the Wii version look even worse, believe it or not. But it was still really pretty impressive for the 3DS.
Yeah.
They did a good job for what it was worth, yeah. But definitely the way the Switch is and a lot of the quality of life issues that they've tended to makes the Switch definitely, as the title says, the definitive edition.
Yeah.
I've just been playing the heck out of that, finally. It's a bit of a dream come true, too.
Yeah. It absolutely is a dream come true.
A lot of people who are big Xenoblade fans, certainly it started off, a lot of these games 10 years ago, and there's a lot of fans of it and still growing, and they plan to keep growing the series, but a lot of people have been fans of the game for a while, so to actually see them do sort of like a soft remake of a lot of the assets is actually just a bit of a dream come true. And the redone music is always a nice touch.
It's amazing just taking it all.
I just got to Satoral Marsh and everything.
They just added some nice finer points.
Yeah, I'm enjoying that. It's so beautiful.
Satoral Marsh is such a joy to take in. Yeah. As soon as it's weird because that game is so long, and I played it so long ago that I remember some key points of it. I mostly just remember running around Guar Plain a lot, and I remember a lot of Colony 9. And it basically speaks to how much side questing I did in each area and how much I remembered it. But then I'd get to places like Satoral Marsh and then it would turn night and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember. Oh my gosh. And then you get to the jungle and I can't wait to get to the mountains because it's got my favorite music. And
I can't wait for all of it. I'm such a sap for the game at this point. Even the bad parts I like. Did you play Future Connected at all? Oh yeah.
I did dabble a bit of it because, again, I was playing it for to get our coverage for our video review. Mm-hmm. And since I knew Zach was going to talk a bit about that, I tried that out a bit too. And it's fun. It feels like a bit light. It was funny, though. As I was playing it, it felt a lot like the guiding lands that they added to Monster Hunter World Iceborne, which is a little floating island that has a little bit of all of the lands.
Oh, cool.
And this kind of, the Future Connected, it feels a bit like that, because it has a bit of monsters from each region in it, and the landscape is a little smattering of a few of them. Although I haven't seen a Satoral Marsh area, but there's some glowy trees at night and stuff too.
They gotta have the glowy trees in there.
Yeah, exactly. It comes from Bionis. It's kind of glowy. So it's neat. It's it's fun. It's a bit lighter. I haven't got too far through it, but it's just a bit more of what you like, right? So
Yeah, that's what it is. It didn't have to be there to begin with, and but they had this one big chunk of assets. So like the whole Bionis shoulder was originally on the Wii, but they dummied it out and you couldn't access it. So the fact is that they put this whole chunk in, and just to give one of its big characters just a little bit more limelight. And for what it's worth, I mean, it's nothing special, but at the same time, I'm happy to spend more time.
And they
with
also
it.
doubled down on Nopon time of like, oh, you maybe didn't like Ricky? Too bad. Here's 2 more of him, and one of them has to be in your party at all times.
Ricky's at least one of the better of the ones than the other ones. Than the one in like Xenoblade 2 and X, so I don't mind. His kids are cool.
In Xenoblade 2, was it were they still Nopon, or was it just a different comical race?
No, it's the same Nopon as well, and they're just as, kind of goofy.
They're endearing, though. Like, I just got to the Nopon village, and I love how they are.
These ones are pretty tame compared to what happens in Xenoblade 2, so they're actually a bit more level-headed.
They're sweethearts. They're endearing. I don't know. I think it's cool. The whole
They're
world building
sweethearts.
of all that game has just been great, and
Well, I like how they're kind of silly, but they're very serious
are.
merchants. Like they're very, serious merchants and farmers, and they got a big business going. And despite how cute they are and how fuzzy and wonderful they are, like
they've like traveled the
work.
furthest, which I didn't quite clue into until this time around. Like Homs are like, yeah, we haven't left our colonies basically, and Nopon are everywhere, and they're like the
Just
smallest
hung out at the
things
bottom.
walking by these
Yep.
towering monsters.
Braver than you think. Ricky is the best.
Yeah, he's quite. I didn't play with him a lot last time, but I think I'm gonna have him more in my party this time around. I've tried to focus on using different characters, and yeah,
Like I said, I have like this game just at the back of my hand. Like I know when to switch my parties to like max out their affinity and all that stuff. It's sad, but I'm handy. I've been helping out people on sites and everything who need help.
That's not sad. That's
So-
that's a favor to the community. You should feel good about that.
yeah, you got to build those social links.
Thank you.
I mean,
Okay.
not social links.
Your social
Whatever.
distance links?
Tomato. I kind of like that. I've truly been talking to people again because of this. I've been hitting on my Instagram and talking. How you been? What
You got a big, like,
playing?
Corkboard on your wall with a bunch of threads tying these two together. Hate each other because they're roommates, and one ate somebody's ramen. These two over here are family.
I'm gonna try to change their angry
Yeah,
face
exactly.
to a happy
You're trying
face.
to
Yes.
sell quests for them. Be like, I got you new ramen though, and I gave it. It's from so and so. I swear. And then change. Then you switch the face around. Yeah, make your own affinity board.
I'm gonna give you like meaty cabbages.
Oh, and how much do you
Alright.
love that quality of life change, where like those actually appear on the map as like you can find them on the map now?
Yes. Oh my god, yes. Yeah, it means I'm on the wiki like 100%.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out where things spawn.
I don't know percentages.
Because for those of you who haven't played,
but
it's
no,
got
it's
these. It's all good.
Go on, sorry.
For those of you who haven't played, there's like the little endemic kind of like life things in the Collectopedia, which is one side thing. You feel out like each different, like there's nature, fruits, veg that you can find in the area. They're just little glowing blue orbs, and then you pick it up and it tells you what it is, and it's always a random crapshoot what you might get. But some quests and stuff will require you find those for the people as well. And in the original one, they didn't really show up as quest items, so you were just basically running around trying to collect these blue orbs, waiting for them to respawn and hope you get the right things you need. Whereas now, they actually get indicated with quest markers if the thing you need is spawned.
They do get indicated with
Yeah.
quest markers, don't they? I thought it was just for enemies, but I think it's for
Yeah,
items
it
too.
changed my life. I was
okay.
just like, oh my gosh, I actually do want to pursue these things now. And I can tell if what I need is here instead of me wasting hours wandering around Guar Plains trying to find the right moth crawler that I need.
Oh god, the hours spent on ice cabbages.
And it's
is
not a bad
staggering.
thing. I mean, it's a great game to wander around in. And now, like, as I kind of said a bit earlier, like the textures on like the landscapes are like amazing to me. Like, there's moments where I was standing on
so
Guar
lovely.
Plains and would look out over like the vistas, just into the areas that were like not playable, and it looks very photorealistic. It's nuts, like the rock crenellations. And
Yeah, they actually found a really
Yeah.
nice color palette for it. It's really beautiful.
They did a great job.
Absolutely recommended though. Like any Switch player, like if you need an RPG to sit your butt with for like,
Do it.
at least about 100 hours, then Xenoblade Chronicles is absolutely everything you want it to be. I think we've like given it Editor's Choice Awards twice now for both versions.
Did we do a 3DS one as well? I think, did Caitlin review that one?
I don't know, but now I'm thinking about that. But I can confirm
Yeah.
at least 2 Editor's Choice Awards.
I mean, Caitlin's bought all 3, so that's a good thing, and so have you, I guess, at this point. Button. Who says
God,
button?
yeah, so
have
I.
bought. I'm making up words. Shush.
Bottom.
Button. Sit your bottom down with this button game.
Button.
It's drawing time.
I always. Oh, do you know what I like saying, especially for all the glowy stuff in the games? I love going bioluminescence. Like a fancy professor.
I'm so glad we got you on the podcast today. Who's your favorite character aside from Ricky?
I'm a big nerd for Shulk because I love that he's a nerd. I love them all though. Ryan's a
'Cause he screams
goofball.
so
I think
great.
Melia's like the favorite. I honestly think Fiora kind of sucks. She just kind of takes the fun out of the room, being like the childhood friend stereotype. But she's sweet
Yeah,
too.
I kind of liked her growth.
They're all
But
sweet.
I mean, I've always been a big Charlotte fan because I like her tenacity. I mean,
I
she's
love
definitely
Charlotte, yeah.
was definitely felt a bit fan servicey initially, but her bond with her
She got those booty shorts, yeah, but
Yeah.
her bond is great, yeah.
exactly, and the fact that she can love somebody who's named Juju just speaks
Such
a
a
million
strange
times.
name.
Her younger brother Juju. Oh my gosh! But yeah, they
Oh,
have
and
a
nothing
really
beats
sweet
Adam
bond.
Howden's yell as well. Like it's
Yeah.
still as good as ever. And
Zach
screaming at the top
quoted
of
it
his
in the
lungs.
review, so right.
Oh, that we should have
You
put
can't
that as like the catch for it, just like a link style.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, it's
See how good it is? We're so enthused.
Yeah, and the acting is so much better now too, with the more expressive faces and better character animations. Like all these
Yeah.
connections, all the relationships, and the voice acting is just elevated. It's great. It's a very good game. 10 out of 10.
It's
would
an essential
recommend.
play, I think. Yeah, if you want just a good general RPG to get in on the genre, see if you like
Yeah.
Xenoblade. I think it's kind of familiar for a lot of people too. They always say it's kind of like a slightly westernized Japanese RPG. It's like,
Well,
why
it
not?
felt very much like kind of like Final Fantasy 12 did too, where they both kind of had a sort of MMORPG vibe.
elements,
weren't.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
and like this game, it's arguably a bit dated in some of its gameplay stuff, but what do you expect? It came back on
But it's
the Wii.
10 years old. It'll happen.
But it's worth it. Again, it's worth exploring.
think-
It looks good.
Just to go into a bit of a tangent, so like, it's great to see so many people picking up Xenoblade now, and some of them do see that it's dated, right? It's a 10-year-old game. So with all the hype with Persona 4 and all the people who are going to be getting into on it, you have like the old crowd who played Persona 4 and thought Persona 5 was just okay. But now I wonder if you're going to see like the opposite, where it's like people go from 5 to 4 and go like, it's old, everybody.
Yeah, you get that bit of as Rob Steinman would always say, the revisionist history.
Yeah, it's exactly it.
I have such a hard
That'll be
time with
interesting.
that because it's like, in my mind, 10 years isn't that old. But then we're talking about like,
It's
we're talking
older,
about
isn't it?
like, I mean, yeah,
How
but
old is
it's
Persona
I mean,
4 now?
no, it's 12 years old, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Xenoblade's
like,
10.
my right, but my point in the matter is like, to me it doesn't feel old, but then it's like the medium we're talking about, video games, really like 35, 40 years old tops, for especially for RPGs, and it's just
Whoa,
like,
it's
so
insane.
10 years into that is a pretty big chunk, and I'm 30.
Well, what? RPG Fan was founded in 2000, which is like grandfather in internet years now.
Well,
Yeah.
you just look at the jump from like,
1998,
I was going to say
Super Mario
98
1
98.
to the 90s.
because I was there.
Yes.
Well, again, I mean, Patrick can speak to this as well, but like, my daughter turns 10 next month, so it makes you feel old. So
Happy birthday to
You're like,
Gwen. Can I
that's
draw a
a-
little picture if she wants, or if you want?
we'll talk.
I remember I was supposed to do
like
you
this.
something for Christmas like 3 years ago, and like I was just crazy busy at the time, so I kind of wanted to reach out to you and be like, "Yo, I'm free now."
I will take you up on that offer, actually. That might be...
Yay!
Yes, we will talk. We will talk.
Okay.
If you want to do commissions, you can email Steph Sybydlo at stephs@rpgfan.com. I think. Is that yours? I don't know. Or Sybydlo
don't
S?
know.
I have no idea.
I'll give you my Twitter at the end.
Yes, exactly. At any rate, Xenoblade, good game. I would ask
Please
all of you
play.
on it, but there's a lot of us to talk, and
You will be
we
my
gotta move
friend
it
if
on.
you do.
Yes, she will do. You should go check out Steph's as Dice SMS, Dice MS, Dice
Yeah.
SMS, on Instagram. She's got some really hot Xenoblade fan art actually, I think, up there as well.
Woohoo.
You got some stunning art up there.
See, I'm
But yeah, this game is great. Everyone here on the podcast today too. If you haven't played it, get around to it. I don't know, Jono, you gonna play this one?
Probably not, but I want to.
Aw.
Oh, believe me, it has nothing to do with the game. It just has to do with what I have in front of me right now.
Do I
Jen,
have
are you
those
are you in
300
Toronto,
hours?
or was I wrong when I saw that?
No, I'm in Toronto. Well, technically Vaughan, but Toronto.
Yeah, I can
Yes.
just lend it to you. I will come back for it after a while, or hound you if you keep it too long. But I mean, I'd be happy to lend it to you.
That sounds pretty tempting, actually.
Yeah, right?
Yay! We'll do a game trade. Yeah.
I know where he lives. In the podcast with me twice a week. I'll hound him for you. Give Steph a game. We're gonna break your shins. And honestly,
Well,
she would.
I believe it.
Have you finished yet? Have you finished? I need it back. I miss it. It's Reyn Time, and I can't play it.
Now I'll give you something. I'll give you something good in return.
Okay. Can't wait.
But that being said, if you haven't played it yet, do play it. We're going to go on to now my favorite segment of the entire episode, Talkin' SaGa Frontier. No, Talkin' SaGa 3 with Jono. No, Talkin' SaGa Re-Universe. No, we're going to talk about SaGa things with Patrick Gann. That's what he's here for, because he's like, I don't care about any other RPGs, just SaGa. It's sagafan.com. Sagan, Patrick Sagan. There we go. I'll take that from Steph. Thank you. So, Jono,
Should be-
you
should
get to
be
sit here
Patrick
and listen to
Sagan.
Patrick.
Sagan Frontier. Let's do it.
I don't mind listening to Patrick.
Like, like Carl Sagan, but Patrick Sagan.
Or Peter Sagan, the famous cyclist.
Yes,
Of course, you
indeed.
know a famous cyclist.
That was such like
I
a
know.
Captain Holt reference right there. I loved it.
Totally.
I have no problem at all talking with Patrick about Saga. We
That's so
we were
charming.
talking about it when I was playing Romancing Saga 3, and he was very very supportive during that time.
I'm always there for you, sir. You're a good man.
I appreciated it. It was a tough time.
Was the stapler idea Patrick's idea?
No, that was born out of desperation.
Actually, I used it after he told me about it.
That's incredible.
Saved me. Well, I beat the game 8 times because that's what you have to do to get the platinum trophy, which was awful. That was the worst part because there's really nothing new to do after like 3 playthroughs. But
Yes,
Anyway.
I will never
I
play
think
the
that goes
game
for
again.
most playthroughs ever.
no, that's
Chrono Trigger's got a lot
actually,
of life in its playthroughs.
I did 8 playthroughs of Saga Scarlet Grace.
Oh,
and,
it's a different protagonist every time, right?
well, yeah, same with Romancing Saga 3, but Romancing Saga 3's protagonists don't have a lot of variation in story. Scarlet Grace, which only has 4 protagonists, because there's so much routing difference,
Right.
I did 8 playthroughs and still didn't see everything I wanted to see. So that game's actually amazing, but we'll get to
cool.
that.
Sorry for being cheeky earlier. Yeah, no, that's really impressive.
Well, let me tell you, if I ever played the game again, I know where I would go. If I was looking for a resource to help me through the game again, I know the person to go to.
I think at
thanks,
RPG Fan
guys.
there is literally one person for everything like that. Like you go to Peter if you need Kingdom Hearts help, you know?
You go to Tyler for Xeno.
Yep.
But have they written how many words was this, did you say?
Oh, geez, I don't know how many words it is. One of them...
Or how
I
many
think
hours
Romancing
of
Saga
time?
Hours of time. I've put 2,000 hours into, if you go to PlayStationTrophies.org, I've written platinum trophy guides, and it'll get you your Steam achievements. Everything except, Switch doesn't have persistent achievements, but whatever system you have, I wrote the how to get all of them guides for Romancing Saga 2, the port/remake from 2017, and Romancing Saga 3, and Saga Scarlet Grace Ambitions. And that last one took me 1,200 on its own. That was the hardest.
Wow.
It took me 5 months.
Oh my gosh.
I know someone I can actually say, he wrote the book on X thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's sad is I've collaborated with some people, and Saga Scarlet Grace has multiple endings for each of the 4 protagonists, and we still don't know how to unlock some of them. And because it didn't have to do with the trophies, I didn't dig into it. But like, there's Japanese wikis, and the game is like 3 years old in Japan, and they still don't know how to do it all. Like the flags and like it's so like arcane and esoteric. It's really insane.
Well, that's actually interesting. So there's going to be some fun discoveries as this goes on.
I feel like the SaGa games are made by like a way more hardcore development studio. Who just seem to really dive into mechanics really thoroughly.
Well, Akitoshi Kawazu, he's been lead on pretty much all the SaGa games. He's not afraid to try crazy things, and he's not afraid to fail. Unlimited SaGa is proof of that.
Yes, that's very bold.
Although, a part of me thinks, that game could have been successful if, like, there was a better manual to explain the mechanics. It's like playing a board game, but you don't know the rules.
Yeah, it's like a terrible version of Mario Party.
Wow.
I think you're right. If you know what you're doing, the game's actually not bad, but it's unplayable if you don't like do your homework ahead of time. That might be true for all the games.
It gave us one of the greatest soundtracks.
Oh yeah, well, Masashi Hamauzu, his 2 games that he did for the series, SaGa Frontier 2 and Unlimited SaGa, in my mind, are some of the best music he's ever done, and some of the best in the series, even though Kenji Ito, who did pretty much all the other music for the series,
I love Kenji
is
too,
also awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, Hamauzu is,
So
of
good.
all the composers I've met, he's like a living brain. He is like encyclopedic in his knowledge of how to make music and make it right. I love him.
I heard he had a daughter, and I was
Final
jealous
Fantasy
of the daughter.
soundtracks were amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
What was that about the daughter stuff?
Oh, I heard he had a daughter, and I was jealous of his daughter because I wish she was my dad, just so I could listen to that all day.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that you feel like you might get sick if it was like always around, maybe? I don't know.
No.
Yeah, it's one of those things,
yeah.
maybe. But hopefully she benefits from having such a cool dad.
Dads make me play violin again.
Oh, I'm not gonna comment on that stereotype. Anyway, SaGa. I want to tell you guys. I have played every game in the series, and
Get
for
out of
me,
town.
Yeah, every single one. I'm so glad you said that. And I started right from the start when I first got my Game Boy. Final Fantasy Legend, which is the first SaGa, is.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That was one of the first games I played on a handheld. And the Rising Sun music. So I sort of struggle when I talk to people who are like, oh, these games are so like punishing or hard to follow or whatever, because I'm like, I played the Game Boy ones. Grow up. Like,
get good.
So like get good. That's kind of my stance. Though I will say, it really depends on where you come at it.
But it's get with a capital T.
It is with a capital T. Get good. Playing Romancing Saga 2 and 3 was really an amazing experience for me, just from a historical standpoint. Anyone who's played Saga Frontier for PS1, like, okay,
we're sorry.
That game just feels so awkward and like it just doesn't make any sense. But if you play the Romancing Saga trilogy, it is this completely perfect and natural extension. If you were a Japanese gamer and you played through that trilogy on the Super Famicom, and then that was the next game, you would you'd know what's going on and what to do. And I think it just wasn't right for a Western audience at the time. And
was Saga Frontier the first game we got overseas? Besides Legend?
Other than the trilogy on Game Boy, yeah. We lost the Super Famicom trilogy, and then it came back slowly. We got Minstrel Song, the 2005 remake of the first Romancing Saga on PS2, which I reviewed. I think I also gave it my RPG of the year in 2005. If you dig back,
it was hard.
Oh my gosh, it was hard. It was a great game.
Yeah.
Romancing Saga 2, I love that it was just sort of a sprite update, but then it was pretty much the same game, and being able to play that, I feel like I learned so much about what Akitoshi Kawazu has been trying to do all this time. And I think of all the games I've played, I think Romancing Saga 2 might be the best.
Wow.
It's one of the two games, that and Saga Frontier 2 do the generational thing. Like, you play some stuff for a while, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, now it's 60 years later. In Romancing Saga 2, your protagonist is nameless, whereas in Saga Frontier 2, you're following the lineage of Gustav and also this treasure hunter named Will. It's complicated. And Will's descendants before that. But Romancing Saga 2 is kind of this perfect game in my mind, whereas Romancing Saga 3 brought back the, select your protagonist among many who sort of have intertwining paths. And depending on who you pick, you might have a really boring or crappy intro. And then the main game plays out pretty much the same. There are some differences on what you can do with the what did they localize it as? The Four Sinistrals. I was like, oh, Lufia. With for people who played like fan translations, or if you were using like fan made track lists of the soundtrack for 20 years, which is what I had been doing, you called them the Noble Demon Lords. But all right, Sinistrals it is. Yes, yeah. So is Sinistrals though, so I'll take it. Anyway, the work that goes into making a guide to figure out what's going on with these sort of open-ended games, I think the biggest problem for me was juggling save files and remembering which save file had me where. And for persistent achievements, like in Saga Scarlet Grace Ambitions, where one continuous save file over multiple playthroughs, you need to pick up all 78 recruitable characters, and some of them have such insane flags that, and some are exclusive to only one of the 4 characters, and yeah, routing that out. It turns out you can get the Platinum Trophy in 5 playthroughs. You got to play as Urpina twice, and then the others you can just do once, but you have to do it perfectly. And I had 2 people test it, and it's been a road, you guys. But
who has the time?
Yeah, who does have the time? I did, because it's the only RPG I played in 2020.
There you go.
And it came out in December 2019, and I started the day it came out. So I think it's the only RPG I played in 2020. I mean, other than Romancing Saga Reuniverse, which I played the closed beta of on my phone. And if you want to,
I've been wanting to talk to you about this because it is a direct sequel, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Romancing Saga 3 Part 2.
Wow.
Romancing Saga 3 has this storyline that builds off this concept of the Morastrum, that once every 300 years, nothing lives. Anything that you would give birth to actually dies. It's just like a year of death. And they have like this backlog in Romancing Saga 3. They talk about what happened 600 years ago and what happened 300 years ago, and then what happened in the present, and you kind of deal with what happens in the present. So Reuniverse happens another 300 years later. So it's in that same world. And they use some, fancy, we have summoning magic mechanics to bring in characters from the entire series. And if you read, we did an interview, Neal helped coordinate it. We did an interview with one of the producers, whose name is escaping me, and that's shameful of me for forgetting. But
hang on for 1 second, I'll look it up for you.
Thank you. I asked specifically about, translating the art styles of the different games to fit Romancing Saga 3, and it's clear they did a lot of work, but I also asked, even in Japan, they didn't have anyone from the old Game Boy games, and I get why. Those games were made by a fairly different team. I don't think Kawazu was involved, or at least not centrally involved with the original Game Boy games, but they told us in the interview that in Japan they just released Mr. S. And if you've played Final Fantasy Legend 2, you know that Mr. S is your teacher, and he's the first of the guest characters that join you. Yeah, and he is my hero, and so I'm super psyched about eventually, when the game comes out in North America, they will release Mr. S as a limited character, and I hope they bring in more of the old school SaGa characters, because there's a lot of fun and neat named characters, including the villains, which is another great thing about Reuniverse. Some of the villains become playable characters that can join your party, and they also took characters that weren't playable and made them playable, like in Romantic Saga 3, you might remember this, Jono.
I blocked out most of my memories of this game, but yes, continue.
Oh, I bet you'll remember this. There were these two magicians feuding over one of the relics. I think it's the helmet or the shield. And it was Volcano and the water magician girl that I used. But you couldn't recruit Volcano. You could only recruit the girl. And I was like, what's up with that? Well, Volcano is totally in Reuniverse. So pretty happy about
cool.
that.
That's pretty cool.
So like they added from the roster, like non-playable characters made it. And they have a descendant lobster. Boston.
Oh, really?
Boston, the lobster from Boston. Yeah,
What's
there's a new one.
What's the name?
Purple lobster, Neal or something. Unfortunately, he doesn't have a very funny lobster name, which they really should have done, like something from, I don't know, some other seafood
Missed
place.
opportunity.
I know.
Got a name for you. Masanori Ichikawa?
Yeah, Ichikawa-san. Yeah, he works, I think he's the lead for Akatsuki, who's sort of the lead development staff specifically behind this game, and they worked with Square Enix a lot on like the continuity of the franchise. And as someone who's played, again, every game in the series, seeing characters come in from each game, of course, this is what all these mobile, gacha games do. And the gacha mechanic is actually, it's not bad, it's not punishing, and what's really cool is you can sort of build and level characters in sort of multiple scales. It's hard to explain, but they have multiple forms, so you're not stuck on like, oh, this character is like naturally better than the other one, so I'm never going to use my favorite character, even just because they're like they always have lower stats. You can recruit characters at like their A form or their triple S form, and each character usually has one or two or even three forms. And as you level each one, there's actually stat bonuses that apply across all forms. And I didn't see that in games like Final Fantasy Record Keeper or Langrisser Mobile or Fire Emblem Three Houses. So they're actually trying a lot of new and different stuff, which is what SaGa is known for doing. People can try for themselves when it comes out later this summer, but I know
it's been really popular, so I think it's been like, the success of it is speaking for itself.
Yeah, I'm really hopeful for it. I feel like this is where Square Enix, rolls the dice and takes risks, and they do weird stuff. I mean, even in the realm of music, they've put on stage plays and released soundtracks for these stage plays.
That's right.
They've never done that for Final Fantasy or Mana. Like, this is the weirdest franchise Square Enix has ever done, and they've been doing it for a long time. And they
quietly really love it and support it almost.
Yeah, and of course, as we've said like 100 times, the music to the series is
so
just
good.
And then of course the art as well.
Even the Game Boy games had good music. I mean, how's that?
Oh yeah, the Game Boy games had incredible. Well, Nobuo Uematsu did the first game solo, and
cool.
I actually have from the 20 disc box set. I took the sleeve for the first disc, which is the soundtrack for the first game, in 2010. That's the first time I met Uematsu, and I'm name dropping so hard, and got him to sign that. And he was one. He said that was the first time he saw the packaging for the box set, and he was all excited and he was looking through it. And then when I asked him to sign it, he was like, "Oh!" And then he wanted to keep it, and I was like, "No."
Get your own, you bozo.
Get your own.
Nice try, dude.
Yeah, right. But
I wrote this.
Yeah, right.
I don't care. Get back a little. Get out of here.
Yeah, right. But yeah, the music and then also the art. So what is it? It's I can never remember her first name, but the last name is Kobayashi. Is it Kobayashi? I always remember that because of the Usual Suspects. Her art style is like
I love it.
Out of this world amazing. She also did art for this Korean MMO called Granado Espada, but she's mostly known for her work on the SaGa series, and
that sounds like a coffee
she needs
order.
to keep. doing that stuff forever. Yeah, it does.
Tomomi Kobayashi.
Yeah. She's
great.
Her art style is great, and so like that's one of the reasons I love collecting the soundtracks, because the art packaging is just like insane on all of that. Mm-hmm. And then so all the sort of accoutrement around the SaGa series is great, but then it's like when you get into the nitty gritty of the mechanics, it's like you have to choose to love it, or like you need to stop because it's torture.
So it's better to be like a SaGa fan adjacent as opposed to a true SaGa fan.
Yeah, I think that would save you time to be a SaGa fan adjacent, because otherwise, like deep down in my heart, I've only gone through 4 of the 8 characters in Romancing Saga Minstrel Song, the PS2 remake, and like my PS2 is sitting in the basement, and I'm just kind of like, someday before I die, I'm going back for the other 4. Like, that's what this series has done to me. It's that good.
People's reaction to the SaGa series the first time they see it is very dramatic. They either love it or hate it. And if they love it, they will always love it. But if they don't, they may learn to appreciate it, but they will never become part of their soul.
Yeah.
Which is the quote from Pretty Woman that I just put, instead of opera, it's SaGa, because SaGa's a bit like opera.
Yeah.
Except I like opera.
Yeah, especially with the stage plays.
The stage plays. I love that they do that in Japan, and the whole like pop-up restaurants and everything. Ah.
Yeah, why can't we get like Kirby and Final Fantasy pop-up restaurants here? Come on.
God, I hope like that's where I would do my wedding.
Like I really
nobody would come.
been hoping that they'll open another Nintendo store like here. Also, I would go to your wedding if it was Kirby themed.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right, I think I'm done gushing about my favorite franchise, but just real quick.
That's a good gush.
The plugs again, PlayStationTrophies.org. I did the Platinum Trophy guides for the last 3 games that have come out localized, and we have a great interview.
Can we put like a link to it, to the guides?
They'll be in the show notes.
Like, in the podcast link?
We'll throw that down there.
Yeah.
And then you'll have our interview for the Reuniverse producer, and hopefully the game's timeline isn't lost to COVID nonsense, and before the end of the summer everyone will get a chance to play a mobile game that doesn't suck. Not that all mobile games suck, but a lot of them do.
I know what you mean. A lot of gacha games are rough.
We talked about it last week, actually. But the interview it's a really good interview.
Yeah,
that guy knows his stuff. I mean, he's clearly passionate, and I think Neal and I were both really like surprised by how genuine and thoughtful the responses were. So,
definitely.
Well, it also shows off how passionate you are about the series, and I think that probably reflected in the questions.
Absolutely. Yeah. You actually get someone asking serious questions about things, and not just like your standard kind of, rigmarole.
Well, you can go check out Patrick's guides if you want to tour through masochism. And otherwise, speaking of gushing, we're going to turn on over to Maneater with Neal Chandran. You can all enjoy the visuals of that segue. But how has it been?
Try not to be honest.
But yeah, I mean, we were just talking about how the SaGa series, was something different. Well, Maneater truly is something different. It's an RPG by Tripwire Interactive.
So intrigued by this thing.
It came out in May, and basically everyone knows it as the RPG where you get to be a shark.
About time.
And right. And the whole thing is kind of like a reverse Moby Dick, where instead of being Captain Ahab trying to catch the white whale that bit your leg off, you are the shark. You're the baby shark who's growing up and wants revenge on the hunter that killed your mom and nearly finned you.
And now that's stuck in all of your heads. Enjoy it.
See, I love a good revenge plot, like that's why John Wick makes so much sense. But I'm not even saying that sarcastically. I love that it's actually trying to do something so totally different.
To be honest, I'm still stuck on the suggestive nature for a reverse Moby Dick.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but
Definitely wouldn't have
But
expected much of
the
a
one
story
thi-
from it. That's for sure.
Yeah, there really isn't much of a story because, well, you're a shark, and we don't know how sharks' minds, brains, emotional states works the way we understand the human experience. So, but what kind of helps is that Chris Parnell from, you might know him from like Saturday Night Live, Rick and Morty, and
Lazy
being the
Sunday,
box.
baby.
Archer.
Yeah, and being the box in some of those Geico commercials, he narrates like it's a reality show. So when you're a shark swimming around, he'll,
That's
narrate
fantastic.
he'll like narrate your life. And then when it switches to the set pieces where they show like, the big bad hunter, Scaly Pete, doing his thing, he narrates it like it's one of those seafaring reality shows like Deadliest Catch or something.
Do they have like interviews and talking
So-
heads with him?
Well, kinda. Like the way the game opens is it's like something like Deadliest Catch where, where they're on the boat and we're seeing the big bad Scaly Pete talking about, what a great honor it is to kill sharks and how can you coexist with an animal that wants to, kill you, eat you, and spit you out later. Those scenes are powerful. They set him up to be like a really good big bad.
Ooh.
Like, so when you're a shark, you're like, I want to kill this guy.
You got your motivation.
Yeah,
That's so cool.
yeah.
Now, I really hope that when you
And-
battle him in the end, like he has multiple forms. So I just want to see how that plays out.
Well, there isn't necessarily multiple forms in the final battle, but you do face him throughout the game, and so each time you face him, yes, he's built up his boat and gotten himself new weaponry.
Yeah, 'cause I was gonna say, like, how does the power creep work in this game with the RPG mechanics? Like, I mean, obviously you're getting bigger, so as you grow up, so that's one way they can kind of shape the mechanics. But it's not like
Yeah.
EVO back in the day where you could like literally evolve like
Love
sharper
that
teeth
game.
or better fins and stuff like that. Which, sidebar, I would love to see EVO redone in an engine like this.
God,
oh my
yes,
gosh,
yeah.
I would live for that.
Yes,
But yeah,
Well,
I would
Yeah.
pay good money for that.
No kidding?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. Someone pitch that to Enix now.
where are those guys?
Who cares?
Anyways,
Give it to a
but-
Kickstarter anyway.
so how did the progression work? Yeah.
So, as a shark, you're basically an eating machine. And different animals you eat give you different nutrients. And those nutrients are used as like skill points to put into various stats. Different nutrients, power, different kind of stats. And obviously, as you eat and consume more, you level up and get bigger. And also there's various like quests in the game, and completing those opens up different evolutions. Like, for example, there's a whole bunch of lesser human shark hunters that you can kill throughout the game, and defeating them gives you evolutions such as, having bioelectric attacks or being able to, like, do a bullet time type thing temporarily, so you can slow things down, get your target, and chomp them.
So it's not completely
Yeah.
like factual based upgrades. Like there is a bit of science
course
fiction
not.
to the game as well.
Is there an Austin Powers
Exactly.
one where they put giant frickin' laser beams on your head?
Oh my gosh, Steph.
You don't get
Sharks with frickin' laser beams.
Yeah, you don't necessarily get laser beams,
Okay.
but yeah, it's definitely this is not a realistic game at all, because
It's good when you can play
there's
around
eventu-
with it more.
exactly. I mean, because some of the evolutions, like I said, like the bioelectric or being able to grow bones that calcify into armor or grow
Wow.
into one of the or
You could
when
be like a
or if you
Kolkov.
max out or if you max out, you're one of those giant megalodon sharks that existed in the time of the dinosaurs. So it was more about just just having fun and just going nuts with the concept of being a shark. The only thing about the game is that it often got a little repetitive, because it was just basically, eat, grow, kill, and then eventually you'll see like the set pieces with the big bad. So
a pretty tight gameplay loop that doesn't really give a lot of diversity.
Yeah.
I mean, is there anywhere you saw that they could shake it up that would have been more interesting aside from that? Because obviously, by limiting the kind of animal you are in the environment you're in, it sort of can limit gameplay. But obviously, there's other things they could do.
Because I think we were talking about like Demon Souls and Dark Souls earlier, and the game is, and I would say the game's difficulty is kind of like that, where it's punishing yet still winnable. Like, even when you start out, you're a baby shark in the bayou, and in those waters, you're this level 1 little baby shark, and it's very easy to run afoul of like a level 8 alligator. So there were times it felt like,
such as life, me messing around with people higher level than me.
So there were times I was like, man, I wish, this game actually had like an easy mode so I didn't have to grind so much. But on the other hand, when I was able to accomplish something awesome, it felt really good.
Those are always satisfying feelings.
Yeah.
The hard games especially, yeah.
Yeah, because for me, my most epic moment in the game was early on. I was a little baby shark. I was chomping a bunch of catfish somewhere, and then all of a sudden, a level 8 alligator appears, and I'm trying to swim as fast as I can back to my grotto, which I think is a safe haven. But nope, the gator follows me.
Oh, God.
The gator enters, and I'm thinking, I'm dead for sure. I only have a sliver of HP left.
Your shark life did not go as planned.
But somehow, I just used a bunch of like stick and move tactics, and I somehow killed the gator, and I was like,
nice.
My baby shark is awesome.
Could you name your shark, or?
No, you can't name your shark. Your shark is just a generic female shark.
Did you name your shark though? Not necessarily in the game, but like in your headcanon.
There's the important question. Now you will.
Did I name my shark? No, I didn't actually.
Sharkel?
Sharkel.
Terrible.
Sharkel?
Oh, God.
No.
You did throw me off with the female bit, too. That's actually really cool. Because otherwise I was going to say Rex Peters, which is a go-to name for this sort of thing.
Shaquille O'Neal.
Shaquille O'Neal.
There's the winner.
Were you just sitting there in silence thinking about that? Like, just letting it sit and stew?
That and being impressed that no one has sang the song in all these times that Neal has said the words baby shark.
Well, I referenced it earlier. I said it's all in your head now. It's like making people lose the game.
Oh, yeah.
That's so cool. I'm so glad there was a shark RPG.
Yes. So that also means now that this character can be up for our awards this year for 2020's Best RPG Female Protagonist.
Sharkel.
Why not?
Sharkel
Why
the
not?
shark. The shark from Maneater,
Why not?
a.k.a. Sharkel. That's how we need to list it.
Why not?
Oh, that's good, though. I'm glad that this played out well because, I mean, maybe if it does well enough, hopefully we'll get a sequel, and yeah, maybe they'll get some more stuff going in, like you have like escape scenarios or stuff like that, maybe some more stealth stuff or whatnot. Because it'd be neat to see, like, oh, you gotta escape from SeaWorld or something like that, and you gotta, like, puzzle solve a bit to, like, break glass in the right place or grab some item that some dumb tourist, like, dropped in or something or whatever.
Yeah.
It'd be cool.
See, that's a good point, because when we were talking about what could have varied the gameplay or varied things up a little, Yeah, some puzzle solving type things would have been fantastic, because there really wasn't much of that. And another thing I think would have helped, like with the narrative and the story, is that the only shark hunter that actually got storyline cutscenes was Scaly Pete, who's the ultimate big bad, whereas the other minor shark hunters, they didn't really get much of anything at all. All I knew about them was their mini bios in the menu, and I would have liked to see, each of them get a really cool introductory sequence, like on a TV show or something.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, all those other shark hunters ended up just being filling.
I mean, how can you beat the name Scaly Pete?
Really? No one? Yeah, no kidding. Is he wearing like a alligator vest the whole time? Now, in terms of like NPC
and I thought
stuff,
it was very funny, Greg.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for humoring me. No, in terms of like the RPG mechanics side of things, like the NPCs and such, was that a thing? Like, can you talk to the other animals in the water, or are you too busy eating them?
Nope, you're just too busy eating them. The only real dialogue is Chris Parnell's wonderful narration.
I like that.
And of course the cutscenes with Scaly Pete.
Yeah.
That's pretty sweet.
Not a lot of diplomacy, I imagine, in
You're a shark.
Maneater.
You go eat.
Exactly.
You never
like
stop
that,
moving or you die.
It's a gorgeous looking game.
Yeah,
the underwater environments just look beautiful.
Yeah, and they don't just look good. They flow really well too. Like, the movement of your shark is super smooth. The movements of the other fish are smooth. The movements of like the gators are smooth. When you're going through like the reeds and stuff, that's really good.
Swimming
that's
mechanics
great.
are hard.
Yeah. The only time you see it's with the human characters is when the graphics take a bit of a nosedive.
Always the humans.
Well, but in this case, who cares about the humans? The humans are the enemy.
Yeah, exactly. Is it is it a stylization thing, or are they still trying to go for a certain element of realism?
You know what? I think it is a little bit of both.
Oh, interesting. Just didn't quite hit it.
I think that I've always been under the opinion that a mixture of the two is probably the best way to go, because it can help you avoid some
the uncanny valley.
Really uncanny valley places if it just looks a little bit cartoony.
It was like what we were talking about in that in the PS5 demo, like just how like the protagonist in that demo back when they had that reveal, like she looked real in some ways, but just strange and unreal enough that you're just like, I buy this.
Yeah.
Yep, and that's exactly what Maneater went for.
Is it an open world, or is it like area to area?
Well, thing is, it's pretty much an open world,
open
like
water.
Sandboxy game, but you have to reach certain levels to be able to access certain areas.
Can you swim backwards, or did they keep that true to life?
Let's see.
Or even stop.
Yeah, exactly. Or stop moving.
Let's see. Oh yeah, your shark can sit still.
Fake game.
I believe it. I believe you can swim backwards.
Okay, it's totally science fiction then.
Oh yeah, they definitely. Oh, they did not go for like. It was realism to an extent, because sometimes if you go too realistic, it's not always fun.
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
I mean, Shenmue comes to mind. I mean, I spent so much time in that game simply just waiting, because, certain things happen on a certain day, and I'm like...
Well, it's like,
what?
You want your Sims to go poop, but you don't need Cloud to go poop.
Exactly! That's a great way to put it.
Is it, though?
I don't want Cloud to go poop. I think we got the headline for this episode.
Yep.
It brings a whole new meaning to the squat challenge.
That's great. Oh, how many squats can you do?
Don't fall back.
Gosh. And that's how you do a podcast.
And all this from a discussion about an RPG where you're a shark on a reverse Moby Dick mission.
It's like the first RPG shark I remember since like Super Mario RPG. I'm trying to think of more RPG sharks.
Yeah, it's fair.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's and it's one of the few where, you know what? You're not playing the human. You're playing one of the monsters.
I love that. I want there to be more weird games like this. More reversals, you know? I'm sick and tired of saving the world. I want to have my personal stakes, like defending my grotto. I would defend it.
I'm going to leave alone.
My lady cave.
I was not going. Oh my gosh! Oh my god! Oh, Steph, you're my hero.
Every day.
That's fantastic.
But there was that like action game that was kind of like there was two of them, because there's one where you were one person was the big monster and everybody else was the team where they hunted the monster down. But they also had that where there was a shark in like a sinking like submarine, kind of like Deep Blue Sea, the movie, but basically into a video game world where one person was assigned as the shark in the multiplayer thing, and everybody else had to try and survive the shark. But I don't think it did great. But I feel like it came out in like 2017 or 2018 or something.
I'm trying to think of even some more underwater games, to be honest. Not just like RPG sharks, but like what games take place underwater entirely?
Abzu.
Echo the Dolphin. Yep.
Hold on.
I hated Echo. It's so cool, but it frightened the out of me as a kid. Like,
hold on.
So trippy.
It is.
Neal?
It's really weird.
The Undersea Kingdom in Kingdom Hearts that everybody hated.
Oh, I hated it. Yeah.
And they brought swimming to Final Fantasy XIV and World of Warcraft back in the day as well.
How was that?
Oh yeah. And earlier this year, I reviewed a game called Mythic Ocean, which was kind of like a visual novel that took place completely underwater.
The pages
wow.
are
That
soggy.
game was surprisingly good. Yeah, I thought that game was really good.
Yeah, you reviewed that one highly. And I guess full circle, we're going to see a lot of that apparently in Horizon Forbidden West. Those underwater segments look good.
Yeah, it looked like it from the trailer. Yeah.
I was playing Breath of the Wild just while I was waiting for Xenoblade, and I'm so sad with how slowly that man swims. Like, even with Zora armor on, I'm so sad, and he drowns, like, after doggy paddling for, like, 10 seconds. Like, you know,
Well, give him a
work
break.
on
He was
it,
asleep for
buddy.
100
The
years.
cardio. Yeah, but he's got to build his cardio, and that's the best way to do it.
It's true.
He's
It's easy
letting
on the
us
body.
down. I've also been still slightly traumatized by Sonic's drowning stuff.
But what?
The drowning in Sonic games, you know, when it plays the freaky music. Oh, I hate that so much. Like,
then you gotta
I
get
don't
the
know,
bubbles.
the water stuff kind of terrifies
was
me a
it
little
that-
bit.
Who was it that did the bubble impression? Do it again.
But
Who was that?
It was Greg.
Greg, it's spot on, my man. Do it again.
Bup.
Yes. It feels right. Feels right. And now I want to go.
That terrifies me, man. I hate that. I hate a lot of underwater segments in games. So I'm just wondering, like, you know, would I love Maneater or will I be terrified by it? Because the Banjo-Kazooie sharks scared me on the N64 when I was a kid.
Didn't they have robot jaws or something too? They're like
Yeah, it's a big, giant, spooky metal fish, but it's friendly.
Steph, I'll
Yeah.
admit,
Uh-huh.
when I was playing Maneater, particularly when I was in the early levels,
Uh-huh.
I was scared of the gators. I'm naturally scared of alligators anyway,
It's a fair
because
thing to be
wise.
they're a
scared
pretty
of.
frightening animal. But in this game, they were probably the scariest things I had to face.
I now just wish
Yeah.
that somewhere in that game they'd hidden the Easter egg of like an abandoned pair of Crocs just sitting on the bottom of the river.
Crikey, look at that croc. It's just like Crocs, the sandals.
We all should have left them alone. But yeah. Well, yeah. Thank you, Neal, about telling me about your button gnashing.
About
And,
Shark Week, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
RPG Shark Week.
RPG Fan Shark Week. That's what we need to call the stream if we stream it. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Although coming back to button mashing is the easiest way to die in Maneater. You do not want to button mash in this game.
I'm so glad when games do that.
Yeah. And speaking of controls, whether you're playing with the PC, WASD plus mouse, or a gamepad, controls pretty well. It controls really well with both.
As fluid as the swimming.
Exactly.
I dig it.
I've had Joy-Con drift issues, so every so often I gotta fight and wrestle with Xenoblade, but that's about it.
Oh, that's unfortunate. I've been thankful ours haven't had the issue, but we have like the Eevee one, so I wonder if the Eevee Pikachu Joy-Cons maybe missed that flaw. I don't know. We'll see. But so far,
may it never befall you.
Yeah, and I know it doesn't hit everybody, so I'm holding out that one of our two sets, both of them stay fine, but we shall see. But yeah, that brings us, I guess, to the end of the episode. Well, the one question I did want to propose to Steph, now that we're getting this remaster of Demon's Souls, is this finally the time that you're going to stream with Rob backseat driving you?
Oh my god, you remember that?
Sure do.
Yeah, he's going to shout slogans at me, and you'll probably hear me cry on stream just because, I can only handle those games so well and yelling so well, but yeah, I'd love to do that with Rob.
That'd be really fun, bring back Demon's Souls and just get...
And bring, an RPG fan vet back.
That'd be great.
That's AAA viewing right there. Steph crying while Rob is just like, no, you're doing it wrong.
We'll break 1,000 viewers, no time.
Yeesh.
There's someone crying on stream. It becomes, a whole big deal.
Man, it's almost gonna be like, a dad and their teenage daughter just first learning how to drive.
Or better yet, a dad and their teenage daughter playing Minecraft together, but the daughter's yelling at the dad. It's basically going to be our life. Penny Arcade had a great comic about that recently, where he was like, "My son and I are playing Minecraft together," and he's like, "I just made myself a stone pickaxe," and then it pans over to his son, who's got like diamond armor, battling the Ender Dragon already. He's like, "I've been playing for 2 whole hours," and I'm like, "That's basically it with our daughter." Yeah, that's Minecraft. The kids surpass us. It's tragic. Pat, do you kids game much? Have they started getting past you?
Yes.
They are in their own world. My oldest is addicted to Fortnite. My other 2 are doing Animal Crossing pretty hardcore right now. They don't do much in RPGs. My middle child is on chapter 4 for all characters of Octopath Traveler, but he hasn't cleared any yet. So looking forward to that day. I promised him ice cream when he does it. So, I'm literally bribing him to play a good RPG, but it's worth it.
It might get them hooked on ice cream or RPGs. One or the other.
Well, they're already hooked on ice cream, so, we'll get them to the other thing and we'll be good to go.
Oh, dear. Yeah, it's humbling when they start beating you at things. So for now, I was playing...
well, yeah, they kill me in first-person shooters.
There you go, right?
Insane. Yeah.
I was able to finally beat Gwen at Nintendo Land, but she claims she was rusty, but she usually just destroys us in the Luigi's Mansion thing. But we busted out the Wii U and we're playing that, and I was wrecking her as the ghost, and she's like, I'm just rusty. I haven't played in a long time. I'm like, last time I played was with you, so sure.
Yeah.
But I'm also a pro because I played Luigi's Mansion 3, so.
Yeah. Now that you mentioned Nintendo games, they the newest Smash Brothers Ultimate, that I can't beat any of my kids.
Why would you even do that to yourself?
They're my children, so if they ask me to play, I will. But
the game already has a literal punching bag in it. They don't need you to.
Dang.
Well, I'm supposed to be an interactive punching bag. I think
there you go.
I think that's good fatherhood. I don't know.
He hits
I haven't
back
read
sometimes.
the books in a while. He hits back sometimes. Yeah.
Oh gosh. At any rate, thank you all so much for being on. For folks who are listening, you can you like I said, you can call me to complain. No, you can email me at podcast@rpgfan.com to share with us your tales of various gaming things and comment on everything we've talked about. I do like reading that stuff. If you
have any questions, we'll answer them.
Exactly. We have also Steph. You know what? This is your bag. I'm gonna let you run this part. We got social medias. Where can people find us on the social medias, Steph?
For social medias, you can find us. We are RPGFan.com. Some jerk out there probably already took RPG Fan. Lucky them. But we are RPG Fan.com on Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Like, we are everywhere. Anywhere you guys want to follow us, we are there. So yeah, please follow us. We kind of post different content, depending on the site too. So I mean, it kind of helps to follow us wherever you go. But yeah,
'cause
please follow
your
us.
beautiful little review cards are great on Instagram, for
I
example.
love making those things. Yeah.
Those are cool.
I'm hoping we can Patreon those into an actual
I'll
magazine
agree.
someday.
Oh, I'd love to do like a mini zine almost kind of thing.
That'd be fantastic.
Just like a small, even 5-page PDF of just cool RPG junk we can send you. We are dreaming.
Yeah, exactly. And where can people
And
find
thinking.
you?
Send us
go
your
places.
ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It all starts with dream.
And where can people find you personally, since we were talking about hyping up your art and stuff?
Yes, that's right. I love talking video games, and I like drawing a lot of video game stuff. You can find me most places Dice, like playing dice. So Dice SMS, just about everywhere. Just type it into Google, you'll probably find me.
And
Twitter, especially. Yeah.
Yeah, you are very active on the twits.
The twits.
And we've got
The twatter.
oh gosh, very different
Can we
website.
say that?
Very different website. We have Neal. Where can people find you on the interwebs?
Dincrest on the Discord.
There you go.
I keep a low profile.
But it's a vocal one when he chooses to talk. We've got Patrick Gann. Where do people find you to talk about game music and SaGa and I guess some other things if you feel like it?
Sure. Twitter's the best place to hit me up. I'm Gameadactyl. That's pterodactyl, but replace PTER with the word game. And good luck spelling it. And I'm not on Discord. You can find me. In the club. BGMTV.net. If you get on the forums there, I'm active. I'm actually currently running a sale. If you want some video game music, you can get it for 40% off the market
It's
value.
got some good music.
Yeah. Some of you on this very podcast already got in on some of that. Some of you I still need to mail to. Hi, Neal. Working on it.
All good,
Thanks,
man.
friend. It's on its way. And then also, if you are inclined to read about the intersection of video games and faith, I sometimes write for a website called lovethynerd.com, and you can go there and leave comments on my writing.
And we've got John Tucker. Tucker, you I guess you still bounce around the side a little bit here and there, but
Yeah, got a couple of reviews coming out, but that's about it. I would say about the only place to find me online is John_Tucker_Insta on Instagram. You can see me posting pictures of stuff I'm 3D printing or nice scenery that I'm seeing, or at the moment more like politically.
also lots of
stuff.
alpacas.
Yes, alpacas.
And just because I want to shop you around too, you have an Etsy store, don't you?
I do, and my Instagram profile has an actual link to it, but it's AT Designs by John on Instagram or on Etsy. Mostly, I sell things to help you if you knit or spin yarn, but I also have some stuff like dice towers if you play the pencil and paper type of RPGs. So,
Yeah. And I guess that leaves Jono.
Yeah, so Jono Logan, I'm on Twitter, occasionally on the Discord. Yeah, and I guess you can hear me here every 2 weeks.
It's pretty good times, actually. I should know.
Yeah, we like it.
And I'm at Greg Delmage, GDelme on our Discord. And that's about it. You want to listen to our podcast? We got 190 of these things, and this will be 191. We've also got...
Which means that in 9 episodes, we're going to be hitting 200. So if you have any suggestions about what you'd like to hear, any ideas, send them off to us.
Yes, please. Again, that's podcast@rpgfan.com, or just message me directly on Discord or Jono. We'll get to you, and we would love to hear some ideas coming in for what we want to do for this big old 200th bonanza. We are never going to catch up to Mike Solosi on Retro Encounter, but we're finally breaking 200, so that makes me happy. But yeah, we have Retro Encounter, tons of episodes of that, game journals, random stuff just to chit chat about gaming past and top whatever lists. They just had a a big battle about best game consoles, which that I would
That
not
was
have wanted to
fun.
be on that panel. Were you on the episode, Steph?
We came out pretty sad. Yeah, I was on that one. We came out pretty sad at the end because we had to say goodbye. We had to pick favorites between two babies we loved.
Yeah, it will have gone
the
up.
Sophie's Choice of Gaming, I hated to call it.
Well, it will have gone up by now. What ended up winning?
It was the PlayStation one.
Oh, yeah, that's
Or the
that's a- I mean,
SNES, I
that's a
forgot.
good one.
1 and 2 was one of those two.
Oof.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah,
hard
they're big
choice.
ones.
I'm cool with that.
But PS1 is the only thing we had left. It wouldn't be a bad thing to have left. And then we have Hat and
Definitely.
Eric over at
I could play Thousand Arms.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
Only 1,000 arms. And then we've got Hat and Eric's Phoenix Edge podcast, keeping up with the latest, greatest. They just dropped their last one was some speculation on Final Fantasy 16, actually, which is some fun stuff that I'm sure we'll get more on in the next coming years, and we'll all have wild speculations. But that's about it. Yeah, I don't think there's really anything else to cover. Jono, do you have anything else to cover for you?
No, not really. I mean, did you mention rhythm?
I guess it would be remiss also, as John was saying, to not mention Rhythm Encounter. Patrick's even here. It would be offensive to not mention music around him or Neal, two of our biggest music lovers of video game music. I mean, well, so Steph as well, but just Neal never shuts up about the bass. He's all about that bass. And Patrick
Heck
writes
yeah.
all of the things about music. So there you go. And I just imagine Steph has lots and lots of music, lots of lo-fi jams to study to while she's drawing. So
Study/work too, yep.
yeah, exactly. You got it. But yes, there's also Rhythm Encounter, some back episodes of that if you want to go listen to some top game music and listen to the dulcet tones of Stephen Meyerink and Derek Heemsberg and Caitlin and Peter. And yeah, there's lots of people on there talking about music, and it's great. Mike Salvato was on there a lot too, actually. So there's lots of stuff to listen to at RPG Fan. But you know what you don't have to listen to? Me anymore, because I'm going to say goodbye. So thanks so much for listening. All you many people, thanks for being on. And for myself and this horde of panelists, bye now.
Be seeing you.
Later.
Bye-bye.
If that's all good with you, Mr. Took.
Yeah.
John Took.
Cool.
Sounds a lot like Tom Nook. I don't know how I feel about that. Anyways.
Believe me, I will not try to sell you a house.
I know nothing about real estate.